And welcome everybody back to another installment of LA Lifestyle on KQBH LP, Los Angeles, California, 101.5 FM, a community service of Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory, broadcasting live on your FM dial and streaming on lpfm.la. And welcome back. I'm your host, PvP, out here today for another exciting episode. All my dear listeners, welcome. Tonight we have a special treat for all the music enthusiasts out there. We're thrilled to be joined by a true maestro of sound, I must say, as I put in my notes here. And he goes by the name of Smith, an accomplished audio engineer whose work has left the inedible mark on the underground and Los Angeles music scene. Just get ready for an in-depth conversation tonight, y'all. So Smith, go ahead and introduce yourself, y'all, to the crowd here.
Hey, before I say anything, that intro was crazy, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, trust me, we'll get into the bodies of work this man has worked on and has currently just worked on. But, without further ado, Smith, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate
First time on the radio? You've been on the radio before?
No, man, I've never been on the radio. This is my first time, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man, no, LA Lifestyle, we're happy to have you out here. We got me and my video guy out here, and just out here doing our thing, we're just having a good night tonight. It's Sunday, almost Halloween. Ooh,
yeah, it is almost Halloween.
Make sure everyone, too, I just want to, remind my fan base out there, just stay safe this Halloween, just, if something ain't right, you ain't feeling right, don't be afraid to speak up, stay safe out there, bring me some candy, because I'm not going to be trick-or-treating, so let me get some candy. But other than that, guys, we have a jam-packed show tonight. I'm really excited to have Smith out here on the show tonight. Really great friend. We've also had him over on our sister company on Hot 16s on that podcast. So if you're looking for another kind of interview with a little bit more twist to it, a little bit more loose, away from the FCC restrictions, you can find that over on Spotify and where all podcasts are found. But Smith, man, just a little bit about yourself before we dive into these questions. Where are you from? How old are you? And how long have you been an audio engineer?
Oh man, so I'm from everywhere, man. But I spent a good like 10 years in Orange County, and then I moved out to the Bay Area, and I was out there for about 10 years, and moved back out here, and I've been rocking out here since COVID. So I've been everywhere.
Nice. So with that though, COVID, man, were a lot of artists doing music? Was there a lot of creatives popping off during COVID, or was budget money tight? People weren't spending money.
COVID was a weird time because before COVID popped off, I was really I was interning, I was doing everything I can, and then I came out here for an internship in LA, and things went south, obviously. And that fell through. So entirety of COVID, man, I was just in the house just working on my craft.
Yeah.
Just doing.
Yeah, because I remember when we had linked up on the podcast, you back in the Funk Volume days, you said you'd be trying to, to pick off what Hop was doing on those YouTube videos. So I know you definitely go back on the working on your craft and your ability to find little tips to get better at it.
Yeah, that is how I started actually. I started off as a rapper, and I started off watching. I became inspired from watching Hobson's behind the scenes type videos, and I was a huge Hobson fan, and just seeing him, and I used to zoom in on the videos and try to see what he was doing, and I would copy that, and eventually I'm not sure how, but it kind of snowballed into me mixing. So
well, it seems like you're doing well. You got a couple good names behind your belt, so you got momentum. I listen to a lot of artists I listen to. You just coincidentally have to be mixing and work with. So I was like, man, I listen to this music. I'm like, oh, I wonder who did that. Yeah. But just get us off here. Can you share some insights into your journey as an audio engineer and the pivotal moments that led you to where you are today in the music scene?
Oh man, what a question. Like what? Just from the beginning?
Yeah, something, just what, what was a pivotal moment? I remember you've shared some things with me, off camera, but what can you share with the crowd, which was, a moment in your career, which, was a turning point to get you to where you are today?
Oh man, I've had many. I think the latest one was, I was working a job at a gym, and and I was hating that job, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw you post that video. I was like,
where I was mopping the floor.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
one.
yeah, I was like, look, that was some inspiration, bro.
Yeah, because, you know, when I took that video, man, I was down on my luck, man. You know, financially, things were hard. And
You had to. You
I had
gotta
to.
do what you gotta do,
I
man.
had to, you
No,
know,
no shame here, bro.
Yeah.
It's the same thing all around across the board, bro.
Right.
Don't be ashamed of yourself. You had to do what you had to do to keep doing
Nah, definitely.
what you're doing.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
You and me both. We know a lot of guys in our community in OC and LA that are working 9 to 5s, 12-hour days, and then showing up in their work clothes at the open mic.
I know. Shout out to those guys, man.
So, you know, it's no disrespect, no shame, man. Get your paper player, run it up.
Yeah, but you know, at that job, I was hating that job. I didn't know what to do, and I took that video, man, and it was just a video of me mopping the floor, and
But it spoke.
yeah, and
Very
I was like,
powerful.
when I took that video, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this video because I want to look back on a time and be like, okay, I remember how I felt in this moment.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, after I took that video, I got a call from my mentor Knox, and he was like, yo, like, you know, I have this opportunity. We might be working on this BIA project, and I want to bring you involved. And I was like, yo. Like,
And tell us a little bit about that BIA project too. Isn't that her new album that is
Yeah.
out? The new BIA album.
Yep.
And make sure y'all go check that out. If you didn't see our post today announcing Smith as our guest, the track was Milano. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So we did I think it was like 4 records on there.
Yeah. But Milano has the most traction, right?
Yeah,
It's
Milano-
actually like doing some numbers across the world right now.
Yeah, it's number 3 in Italy right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and who do we got on the feature on that one?
oh man, we got Vivio Foreign
Yeah.
and some other guy. I don't want to butcher his name live.
Oh
But,
no, it's all good. I was butchering names a couple weeks ago, so it's yeah. You know what? Let's
Yeah.
not butcher names. Good call. Good call. But you know, we're out here, man. But no, that's dope though. So you know, I see you're working with BIA, and you know, just as we bring that up, who are some other artists that you could share with us that you have some notable work for? You know, I'll let you speak for yourself here.
Well, I definitely, I've touched records that have Busta Rhymes, Bun B, Paul Wall, Dizzy Wright, Twista. I have joints with obviously Locksmith.
Yeah.
Locksmith and
You got Webby too.
Webby Token. Yeah, it's definitely stacking up right now.
You're not. I know you do the main engineering. You do some assistant engineering, but it seems like even that catalog. Just in terms, if you are an underground hip hop fan and you are listening tonight to the show, you already know that right there. Those are some of the top dogs when it comes to underground hip hop.
Yeah.
Dizzy Wright, Chris
Right.
Webby. Those are some of the pioneers that have really reshaped hip hop into a more profitable thing. And, well, obviously, we can't forget about our boy La Russell, who's really doing
Absolutely.
it. But those
Shout out to La Russell.
those OGs that are, that did help shape it in the 2000s. Because I feel like there's a little rebrand there with hip hop. Things kind of came out of the 80s and 90s. More technology came into it, and that's another thing too. We gotta, we got these, with MPCs and mixing and all that. Technology and music, especially in the music industry, is constantly evolving, man. What emerging trends or technologies do you find most exciting or influential in the field of audio engineering? Like, if you look back at where you started compared to what it is now, say what you started about 12 years ago, right?
Yeah, I started young.
Yeah, exactly. So what differences do you even see in that small progression in terms of technology and audio engineering and what it's done for the industry?
Yeah, man. Wow, that's a good question. I started young. I started when I was about 12, so that was 2013. Man, I think honestly the plugins now are getting crazy, man. The plugins are insane.
And to explain to the audience too, well, what's a plugin?
So a plugin is basically it's a tool. So I kind of look at it as when a track gets sent to me, like
a stem.
Yeah, like a stem,
like you're tapping that in, like you're
pretty
plugging
much.
it in.
Yeah. So
okay.
when I get a song sent to me, I basically have a toolbox in the computer, and I could and I could put these tools on specific things. That's pretty much the best way I can kind of describe it. And my best way to describe mixing, for those who don't know, also is basically if and we're gonna use cooking terms right now. If you're prepping the food, that's the artist, that's the producer, that's prepping the food, and once you send it to me, I'm like the oven. I'm baking it all together. I'm making it. I'm gluing it together. And I'd probably say like mastering is like letting it cool. That's probably it. But mixing is just I'm just gluing everything together.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what a plugin is. So how have these plugins, compared to 10 years ago, what have you seen that's helped improve it definitely with your audio engineering skills?
Number one, quality, man. I think just the technology.
Like the way it's made, or
yeah, the way it's made, the UI, just like everything about it. What's funny is that there's still plugins that I use from that were around since 2005 that I still use.
Yeah, but that's just things get to a point where you can't really do more with it, and then it's just that model.
Sometimes yes and no, but sometimes I actually do like the sound of certain things from plugins that were made like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's again a good like repairman or whoever has a toolkit, they know what tools they have and what to use it on, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it.
No, definitely, and that's dope though that you are able to still like. Does it have any effect? Like, is there any problems? Like, say you do have this tool, this plugin from like 2005, and you're using something from now. Like, is there any extra special stuff you have to get to make that work, or is it universal?
It's pretty much universal. I mean, it definitely crashes a lot. I'll tell you that.
You use Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Shout out Pro Tools.
Shout out Pro Tools.
Anybody that uses Pro Tools is boss. And if you listen to this guy's mixes and he uses Pro Tools, I don't want to hear any excuses. Smith, continue.
But yeah, no, as far as plugins, man, it's just like, there's so many I can't even really go dive into it too much. But yeah. I will say I even have plugins that don't even exist no more. Like,
you can't even find them.
You can't even find them. So
is there going to be like this eBay market for like vintage plugins?
Dude, if there is, I want to know where that is, because there's a plugin I'm still trying to find that I can't find anywhere. But like if you got it, you got it. Exactly. Yeah. Like I have it on a hard drive.
And what do you think too, to kind of close up on this question? Like, where do you think music technology is really going to go? Because I mean, we're in such a digital era, AI especially. Yeah. Do you think you guys are going to get replaced by AI engineering?
That's obviously something that a lot of engineers talk about, and definitely something that's heavy on my mind. Because in 10 years, will AI take over? And the answer is yes and no. This is my take on it. I think that some people will find a way to mix music and get their songs to sound great. There's already programs like that, but you cannot replicate a human ear. Like a human in someone's flavor. Like, you're not going to go to like an AI Timbaland and like be like, oh, put some drums on here, and they're not going to do it the way that Timbaland can do it. Yeah. It's like, that's kind of how I look at it.
Or
Pharrell or Dr. Dre, or like these legends.
And who are some of your inspirations when it came to like audio engineering? Is it like Hobson, as you mentioned? Like, are there any? Could you name another select few that really inspired you to become an audio engineer?
Well, Hop was the only what was an inspiration, just because that's like how I got started. But once I started diving into like engineers and like all that, like man, I'm not even trying to be biased, but Knox is one of my favorite engineers. And I think
when you have a mentor like that, you gotta give credit when credit's due. Shout out Knox if he is listening. Thank you for tuning in, and shout out for working with our boy here, man. You definitely got a hard-working individual, man. Like,
appreciate it. So the funny thing about Knox is that I was a fan of Knox before we started working.
Yeah, because I know he's done it. I've heard his name when I even was in high school, like 2014, 2015, like when you would look at like the back of when you could actually still buy CDs at Best Buy.
Yeah.
And you would open up a pamphlet book of the credits and everything like that. That's where, with him, he is a pioneer. Where now that's great though. That even too, like for you, like you were a fan. You looked up to him, and now he's your mentor.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to work with him, because he had a record called "I Love" with Joyner Lucas.
Yeah,
and bro,
Joyner's fire.
Shout out to Joyner. Yeah, and
I remember when he opened up for Hobson.
Yeah, that was
the second show that was the Undercover Prodigy, when Hop just started doing that.
Right.
It was like, bro, this was months out of Funk Volume.
Yeah.
The first show was in San Francisco. The second show was in Santa Cruz at the Catalyst. And Joyner Lucas opened up that show, and I was front row.
Wow.
And he had a Joe Thornton San Jose Sharks jersey on. And Joe Thornton actually just retired a day ago, so that's coincidence that, you know, we have that mix. But with Joyner Lucas, though, that was Joyner Lucas, though, the thing that got me the most about him was he just started moseying around the crowd when his set was over.
So was that like 2015?
2015? No, that was
It's got to be 2015.
I think it was 16 or 15. One of those years.
Yeah, like 15, 16?
15, 16, but it was in the fall.
Right.
So anyhow, I remember I was walking around and I went back to the back of the venue, back to the bar, and he was just standing there. I walked up to him. I was like, "Yo, Joyner." He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" I'm like, "You're just hanging out." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not really too big yet." And then, like, which was crazy, the next year, he's like rapping with like Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And like Tyga.
So Eminem.
And Eminem, and all of a sudden, I was like, I drank a beer while he drank some water. I just talked to that dude at the bar not even a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was just, that was like crazy, like for me and stuff like that. But you know, it's like, it's often seen like too with audio engineering, like the behind the scenes, like the art form. You know, you don't get to see that side of an artist, and like we even have two. We have right here for you. You know, could you describe a project or an experience, particular, like a more behind the scenes? It didn't really like, it wasn't too like vocally out there, but you had a great impact and how your skills contributed to its success. Like something that was more on a kind of like a sleeper, more back burner, where you ended up being a contributing factor to that joint, or that where it led to something else that came from it.
You know what's funny? There's actually a lot of records like that. I can't even pinpoint one, but there are a lot of records that will come to me where it will sound one way, and I will convince the artist to
change it.
Not necessarily change it, but like let me kind of make it better. So, you know, then I'll outsource for, you know, drums, or I actually just did that with a record like this week. I think it was like Thursday.
Yeah, I'd be seeing you on IG up to like 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, I'm up with the baby till 2, 3 in the morning, so I'll be watching your story. But like, yeah, no, I mean, definitely. Like, so continue.
Yeah, no, so I actually just did that with a record not too long ago, where I tried to convince the artist, where I was like, hey man, like, I really think this, because the song was just one sample. It was just one sample, and it was a, there was like no like I feel like it needed like a punch. Like it felt 2D, it needed to be 3D. And no matter how I mixed it, just this one sample, I couldn't get it to sound 3D. So I was like, hey man, let me talk to my boy. Let me get some drums on this. Like nothing too crazy, just some drums, just so I can, you know, mix it and kind of glue it all together a little bit. And you know, he was a little hesitant at first, but once me and my boy, you know, worked on the record and we sent it back, he loved it. So, you know, that actually happens a lot more. You know, than I actually like.
Well, even too, like, collaboration is a vital part of creating music.
Absolutely.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
How do you work with artists and producers to capture and enhance their artistic vision through audio engineering? Like, if you want to expand on that just a little bit more with that right there added to it.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
How do you work with artists and producers to capture and enhance their artistic vision through audio engineering? Like, how is it like you have an artist, a producer, and an audio engineer? It's like you got 3 worlds right there.
Yeah.
You know, you all have different wants and needs.
Right.
But how does the engineer come to collab and get there? You know,
I think the number one most important thing about being an engineer is that you got to let your ego go.
Yeah.
And you gotta do what the track needs. So if the track needs like a super loud snare and you just don't like a super loud snare, you gotta throw that ego out and be like, okay, this is what the track wants, this is what the track needs, this is what the artist wants.
Yeah.
You know, so you're there as an engineer to
provide
a service. You are, you know, you are making the song better, but you are bringing that artist's vision to life. That's essentially what an engineer does. But the best type of my favorite type of engineer to be is the collaborator, the ones like working with artists that allow me to have some creative freedom, like just that record I was talking about, where we can add drums or some. I'm not even gonna lie, there have been times where I just completely like convince the artist to just replace the beat.
Yeah,
we just take the acapella.
Is that common or?
No, I wouldn't say that's too common. I think that's that's like special case. Like if sometimes there will be moments, very rarely, where we will mix a song, but they can't like find beat stems or anything like that. So we have to, basically, sometimes if the beat's not usable, we'll try to find another beat. But sometimes I'll just print the acapella. I'll send it to my boy. Shout out Dylan Kush. That's my boy.
Dylan Kush.
Hey, that's my boy. Illest producer I know, man. Illest producer I know. And I'll send him an acapella, and he'll turn back, bro. He will send me the hardest song, just like
it's the hardest bars,
bro.
It's just the hardest bars.
He replaces the whole beat, and you can't even tell that it was replaced.
Yeah.
It fits perfectly. So
that's artistry right there, man. You know, it's like yesterday when I was out. Shout out Bars on Wheels. Shout out Manny. We're gonna have them out here on the show pretty soon. It's like, dude, that artistry, that real artistry, man. Just like when you have it, you be like, ooh, like you gotta like put that mug on repeat.
Yeah.
You know, like run that back. You know, like it's definitely fun. But we're coming in. We're gonna be taking a quick intermission here. We're actually gonna be playing a couple tracks, which is funny. I asked Smith. I said, hey man, you got a couple bodies of work, couple clean bodies of work that we can play on air tonight. And well, we got 2 tracks for you coming up here. Got a couple tracks for you, and there's only 2 clean, non-exclusive tracks that he's worked on. And it was
crazy. I work on clean versions all the time, but I couldn't find any like actual.
You couldn't find the clean albums on Spotify?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Damn. And with that though, like when a clean version of an album gets uploaded and say the clean version gets played, do those plays go to the exclusive version like it's the same track? Because you know how like when the singles add up and then it goes,
you're saying that if
if you have a clean album and an exclusive album, do you get double the plays?
I believe so, because I think they're 2 separate albums.
Right?
I think so.